Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and in today's video earlier we made a necklace and earring set which I called the Cloudy Days because of the resin piece that was on the base of both of them's charms. Well, when we were making it, I don't know if anybody noticed, but I said, dang, these pins are bending easily. They're very lightweight. I'm not sure I like them. Well, I took the necklace and yanked on it to see how strong those pins were. Obviously not real strong. See, I just bent this one off too. So I have decided that we need to redo our pins because, well, there's no way I would sell this like this. It's just too weak. So I did is see, these are the pins that I was using yesterday. See how easily they bend? Not good. So these are older pins. I don't usually use eye pins because I usually make wrapped loops. But this necklace, I didn't want a lot of extra looping on them. So we just did simple loops. And to fix this, we can make simple loops again, or we can make wrapped loops. But if we do wrapped loops, of course, we have to either put it right on the chain as we make it, or we have to use jump rings. I don't want to do either. So we're going to make simple loops again, but I've got these old head pins that I don't use that are pretty stiff. So what we're going to do is we're going to make those into eye pins and fix this baby. So like I said, we're going to take these guys and I'm going to cut their heads off. Doesn't that sound violent? I'm going to cut their heads off. We need, I believe, 8, 9, 11 of them. So I'll just start with cutting off. Now these pins are heavier than the ones we were using. In fact, sometimes these older pins I've had break, but I'm hoping they won't give me any headaches because, well, that one's bending easier. I don't want any bending easy pieces here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut the heads off these. I think I have 11 here. Then I'm going to myself make the loop on one end. Then we'll get our looper out and do the other side. To make a loop is not hard. You just have to take your pliers. I'm going to decide about where I want my loops to be to format, what size, and I'm going to make a mark on my round nose pliers. So I will start at that spot to have my loops be consistent. So we'll just start here, and we're just going to wrap around till we touch the other side, like so. Now I think this might be a little bit bigger than the loop that the looper makes, but so I'll put it over here just a little bit more. So we'll wrap this. This is what we call a straight loop right now. And we'll do that with all of them. Now, because this is a stronger wire, it shouldn't pull apart so easily like the other did. Once we have all the heads turned, then we need to break their necks, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Now, if I were making a wrapped loop, of course, I would do this different. I would do my bend first. But then, since I'm doing a simple loop, now I'm going to get in here, right here where we're touching together, and just bring it up like so. Now we have a perfectly fine simple loop right there on that one end. So again, bring it over, and we're going to do that to all of them, because my looper makes a smaller loop than this, and I am going to use my looper to make these, if only for the reason that I like the fact that the looper, let's see how that did that. That's so nasty. I like the fact that the looper cuts the wire for me. That is, when I'm making a simple loop, that is the most questionable part for me. Where do I cut that wire at? Where should I cut the wire at? And I am not always sure. I mean, I'm sure that I'm not the only one that has that problem, but I do have it, and I just don't know where the best place always is to, these are so weak, I probably could have just yanked on that and did that, but I think this may be my big chain. It's one of them. So, you know, yeah, I was just sitting thinking those wires were so weak when I was making them. They were bending over too easily, and I'm like, if they were bending over easily when I was making these little guys, are they going to bend over easily when I need to put these together, or when they're together? Are they going to stay together? And I was afraid that the answer to that would be no. And obviously, when I checked, the answer was no. They did not stay together because they popped right off when I pulled on them. Well, maybe I shouldn't say right off. I did give it some pressure, but I was just very disappointed in that. That they came off so easily. See how it's already spreading when I'm pulling on it? Now, granted, most people aren't going to pull on their jewelry that tightly. I mean, who pulls on their jewelry that tightly? But what if you got it stuck against something, you know? Because sometimes that happens. You get it, your necklace, like, wrapped around something, and you pull, and then it breaks apart like that. That's just not good. So I decided we needed to make new wires to put this on with. Bail, which is right here, and we need to get our looper out and start doing the loops on these. These two are for our earrings. We will be fixing those as well, because I know that those are probably bad also. So here's our looper. We want to push this up through these two pins here, and this probably is not closed all the way on my side either, but that's all right because I'm going to redo it anyway. Now, then you want to push it around and then give it a little bend this way to make your loop on this side, because it's going to be slightly open. See how it is slightly open there? And you're going to want to close it with your round nose. Now, see, it is much smaller. I should have made smaller loops on the other sides, but that's all right. So there, we've got that one done. So we have to open that up and put it back on the bail. So we'll get our pliers out, and we're going to open up this loop here. This top one will go on our bail, Should have done that the other way so that the bigger loop was on the bail rather than. But I didn't, so well, come on, stop. Need to close you back up. I don't know why it's giving me fighting here. There we go. Now we open the side that we made our own. Open it up and put our pretty little ball, resin ball on it, and close it back up. So there we go. Give it a tug. See how now it's much stronger. It's not bending open. Though this one is not quite closed all the way either. So, like I said, I probably should have used the bigger side on this one, on this area. So there we go. So this is ready to go back together. But first we need to do our we need to do all the wraps on these. So we'll just go through, hold it right here, push it, bend it. Come on off there. I might keep these little pieces of wire. I might want to use them to make other things. So up and through. Bend. And that one did not cut its wire off. I've had that happen a couple of times. So we'll need to go in with our flush cutters where the bend is right here, where it looks like it should have been, and cut it off. Now we'll just get the rest of these done, and then we'll start putting it back together again. Oh, come on. This one wants to not come off. So when you push this through here, there's a hole on the other side. You want to go through, and you push it all the way up, bring it down, give it a little bend. Now that these are done, we're going to do just like we did on our original video. We're going to take all our little chains here and our big chain, and we're going to open up these loops, and we're going to, well, these need to be closed the rest of the way. See why I bent it? So that when we bring it over to finish closing it, it's it comes back into form. And unfortunately, I did make them quite a bit smaller on one side than the other side. Now we're just going to start putting the chains on now that we have our loops the way we want them. This is our long chain, which goes through our medium one here. And I'm going to make it a point to put my bigger loops towards the bottom and then the smaller loop at the top. Since I didn't pay attention and that way it's still symmetrical as far as loops are concerned. Whoops, drop it. Now we're just going to go up the line like we did with the original one and just hook the open them up. This one needs to be turned open. Put one of our chain pieces on. And put it back together. Now these wires I'm not nearly as worried about as I was the other set coming open. They're much stiffer, stronger. So we got to have 4 on either side, so we'll just grab, and like I said, I'm wanting the bigger loop on the bottom of our chain pieces. So and you open up your simple loops that you've made just like you would a jump ring by giving it a sideways twist and then twisting back the same way. And now it's time just to put on the final piece, which is where our clasp is at. So we just do that exactly the same way. Just grab one side, close it back up. Go to the other side, open it up. Chain on. And close it back up. And now I am much calmer about this because I'm not so worried about it falling apart like I was before, because these pins are much stronger than the ones we had used originally. So the necklace is done. Now we just have to work on the earrings, which I'm not even sure I'm going to pull them off their card here, because they'll pull off right now on their own, unfortunately. So, where'd the chain go? Oh, to the back. So when we put them back together, all we got to do is just put them back on here. So I'm going to cut these off of here. Should have realized there was a problem with them when they fell off. Well, when one of these fell off yesterday. So we'll get these pins we made over here and put our beads together. Now this time I did put this on this side. It doesn't need, I don't think I want it on that side because it's not on that side on the rest of them. So we'll flip it back over here the way the rest of them are done. With it, the bigger one at the bottom, because this time this one's just going into a chain, so it doesn't make much difference. Though in all actuality, I probably should have done the one with the bail the other direction, so the larger loop was with the bail. And I still could do that. I have another pin out here. I just have to cut this one loose again and do that. So now we're going to get our looper out. Go through over to the other side. Grab hold of it with my finger here. Snug it up and bend it, and then give it its little bend downwards. Same with this one. Come on, come off of there. Sometimes they don't want to come off. They like to stay there. There we go. So now we will get our round nose pliers out and close this pin back up the rest of the way. And as we close the pin, then it comes up and closes here. And we want these just like we did them before, with our pearl down towards the bottom, towards our little charm here. Close this baby up. Now we're going to open this side. There it is. Pay attention to where your opening is. And we'll get one of these. Oh, just drop the chain down so we can get to it. And just, that way we don't have to even take them off the card. Now this one I didn't, obviously I didn't get it enough, oops, sorry. I didn't have enough bend there. I wasn't happy with my bend, so I ended up knocking it back off its chain when I went to put the bend in place better. And I think we'll close this with the round nose to make sure that I have my bend the way I want it here. That one's fixed. Now we have to do the same with this one. Open this side up. Get our charm on. Close it. Open up the other side. Get our chain back out here. Come on, you. Get it on the chain. And close this side up. And our earrings are now fixed, as is our necklace. Though, like I said, I'm not sure I like this one up at the bail. Well, it's moving, so that's all right. Not moving as freely as I would like it to, though. So we may end up, I have one more of these pins here. Cut its head off because I hadn't cut its head off before. We're going to take and make our simple loop. Break its neck. And there's our simple loop on that side. And we're going to take this, the pendant back off of its bail because I think it wants the bigger loop up here at the top. I think it would be better. So we will cut this little loop off of here. Ding, come on baby, come off. See how tight that was? I've got it half cut and it doesn't want to come off. There it is, it's cut now. So then we will, again, we'll take this off. Cut it off of here. Don't cut the good loop, Rose. Cut this one. So you don't want to cut the one off the charm. That would wreck it. Now we will put the beads on so that the bigger bead is at the top by this bigger loop here now. And then get this one finished, get our looper out. Go in our, right there between the pin and the cutter blades. Hold it up so it's pretty snug there. Bring her around and bend her down. Now we'll take our round nose, go in here, and bring her up and around to make her regular loop on this side. And I want the neck broke a little bit more, so we'll do that. There, that's much better. So now we're going to put this side here, the small side, onto the charm, or the charm onto the small side, however you want to look at it. Close that baby up. Open this other side back up and put it on the bail. And I think it's going to be much nicer now because now it's got that bigger bigger loop at the bail, which will allow it to wiggle around a lot more. See how that now has got free movement? So much better. So there we go, all repaired. Like I said before, though, if you feel as you're working on something that it just doesn't feel right, something just feels wrong, check it. Yank on it. Whatever you feel you need to do to see if it's behaving the way you want it to. Because it might not be. And if it's not, you don't want it to be, you don't want to, if it's this piece you're going to sell, you do not want to sell it and have it be that as loose as it was before I changed all these pins. It would have, if the first time they snagged it, the necklace on something, or got their earrings stuck in their hair, which happens, you know, and yanked on it, it would have come apart. And that is not the professional way to do things, to have things falling apart. So there we go. She's all fixed with all of her new pins and such. But like I say, the moral of this story is, if something's bothering you, if it just does, something just doesn't feel right, find out what it is that doesn't feel right to you. And for me, it was the fact that this just felt like it was just those pins. I just kept thinking how weak they had felt when I was working on them the other day, and or earlier when we originally made the necklace, and I thought, what is it? Why do these feel? Why is it bothering me? What feels wrong to me? And I realized it, like I said, that it was the pins, that they were just bending too easily. And I thought, if they bend that easily when I'm working with them, how easily are they going to bend if they get tugged on? So I took it out of where I had it and I tugged on it. And the pieces came apart. And I'm like, no. No, no, no. That does not work. We definitely don't want that for our piece, especially if you're going to sell it. You don't want to sell it and have somebody get it stuck in their hair or on anything, like you're leaning down, your necklace gets wrapped around something, you stand up, and all of a sudden it's going pop, and everything falls apart. We don't want that to happen. So, there we go. Our necklace is all fixed. Our earrings are all fixed with the heavier duty wires, and I'm much happier, and I don't feel so spooked by it now. I think it's fine. So this has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and this little addendum was to show you how to fix something and to trust your instincts when you feel something does need fixed. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.